Good morning. It's Monday, January 18th, and I'm here, finally, to share a project with you. I'm sharing my very favorite book. I found this book about maybe a year and a half ago, at an antique mall. And I fell in love, and I'll show you exactly what it was that I fell in love with. The book is from 1895, and it's a story. It's Trilby is the name of the story. It's got some gilding on the cover, and the thing that made me put it under my arm, although it weighs more than I do, was the paper. This paper is just gorgeous. I wanted to show you particularly this piece of paper, and you'll notice the deckled edging, and that's what sold me the book. And the fact that when you feel the book, it does feel like, almost feels like watercolor paper. And I wanted to see if I could use wet pigments on this book, so I took one of my very favorite rose stamps and placed that down, and then I colored in the outline of the rose, and I turned it over, and very, very, very mild shadowing. So if there was anything that I'm going to do that I would want that would manage to come through a little bit, I would just glue another page to the back of it. But considering the amount of wet medium that I put on the front of that rose, that's not half bad. So, Trilby is just gorgeous, and it's got a cajillion pages, some full-page illustrations, but the book is has hand-sewn signatures and some gilding on the edge. That was secondary to my grabbing it because of the paper. I just love this paper. And now I'm going to put Trilby up out of the way. So, in order to do this project that I had in mind, using a piece of paper from Trilby, I picked some of my papers from Roxy Creations, her Florentine papers. If you don't know about Roxy Creations, go immediately to YouTube, and you will be led there to her Etsy shop. And as you can see, these papers are just gorgeous Florentine bits of paper. I hoard this to death. If the house was on fire, this would probably end up under my arm in some way, shape, or form. So, let's go now, put this out of harm's way, and let's look at the piece of paper that I picked for today. This was the tear out of the book, and it looks very similar. It's not softened the way the edges are here, but it looks very similar to the other two sides, and this is a two-side deckled paper. And here we go. I decided that I wanted to use this green painter's masking paper as a bottom focal, and then I thought, well, let's just take that off, and then consider this. I just thought this green and this worked beautifully together. I don't want to cover my text, so I'm going to need a fairly narrow piece, and I'm going to take a little off the top, and I'm saving every little smidgen of this paper, and I'm going to leave this side untorn because I want it to make a little bit of a different statement. I want the printing to show just a little bit, and yet we still have this left. So that's that. No, that's the second sheet of paper. I wasn't sure about whether or not I was going to add another sheet. I'm not sure yet. Let's look. I found this in my stack of baskets, and the coloring just seems to work beautifully together. So let me go back a little bit so that you can see the full sheet of paper. Alrighty, so this, the coloration here, and this green, loving it so far. Let's just do it. Let's just get a piece of this paper let's see if I'm going to like what I see, and I wish I could hear your opinion, and I hope all of you are having a good start to your week. Now let's see. Do we or don't we? Do we or don't we? I think do we, because this background color works very nicely with the original paper. So there is where we stand for our startup. Let's go over here. And we're going to put this paper right along here. And I have my glue book and my card and my yoo-hoo. I'm going to put a goodly bit of yoo-hoo on here, and I know I don't have to worry about wet glues or mediums such as watercolor and so forth, but I'm still going to overglue a little bit. And about there. And is the paper parallel to the bottom? Close enough. Alrighty. Our foundation is set. Now, the trick is to get this one right where I want it. Let's look again. Let's look again. Or this way. Or this way. I think that way. And I think I want some of the masking paper to show. So, it's quite cold here in Northeast Florida. We woke up to about 36 degrees this morning, and I think it's up all the way to about 45 now, and it's about 10 a.m. And by Florida standards, by Northeast Florida standards, that's nippy. Definitely nippy. pockets. And let's put on this one, which was questionable, but I'm really loving it now. So we want some of the top to show. We want this to go out past this edge of the printing. Now the question here is, do I want that? I also had this piece of my own digi paper. I was wondering if I mightn't want that there, this white background to play up the white on the background on the flower. I don't know. Well, here we go. I wish I could hear your opinion. No, it fogs up the situation, and we don't want a foggy collage. Let's see. Does it need to be? Decisions. As Rachel would say on Roxy Creations, decisions are the worst. I'm thinking right there. Gives us some nice room with this beautiful wide margin. Our text, the other two pieces of Florentine paper, this, yes. And I'm wondering if I don't want to try to add. I do, but I'm not going to do it with let's see, we have our micron. I'm going to use the 3. And I'm just going to do it. My collection of very good friends, but some of them are not permanent. Now this is going to be rather fine because it's a 3, an 03, but and another one. And let's just see about a leaf. And maybe another. So, in this case, we're going to do less is more, but it did draw the eye up to the top of the picture of the collage a little bit. Let's see now about putting this puppy down. Oh my, the glue that came under. Right, that's fine. Not quite. Alrighty, now right there. Bit over here. Anything else? Yes. Oh, it went down. Good. I'm talking to myself, which is nothing new for those of you who know me, and for those of you who are new to me, you'll find that I do mumble to myself a bit. Alrighty. This needs some lining. And these need a little touch of darkness here. Not too much. And this spread out here a little bit. And a little touch of darkness here. And let's see if we can get another very fine close line here, because this one is much narrower than this one. Good. Alrighty. Let's just sit back and see where we are. This was just a getting my feet wet again piece of collage that I thought you might enjoy sharing with me. Let's see what we've used. We've used a piece of our antique Trilby paper with the beautiful decaling on the edge. We've used a piece of lovely Florentine paper that has just the tiniest hint of gilding on it. Green here. That was the reason for the green base for the composition. And this is painter's masking paper that I sent for on Amazon. And then we had another piece of the Florentine paper in which we used it because I wasn't sure, while the pieces were just laying around on the table in front of me, whether I would want to use it, but I like the way this plays up the background color of the papers, because this is certainly not stark white. And I found this in my basket of goodies. For those of you who don't know, I have a collection of baskets about, I would say a foot high, that I keep right here on my work table. There are cut out flowers, there are birds, there are miscellaneous pieces. In other words, these bits that I had, that we took off here, will end up in a basket. And here is my good friend with all of my black pens. So, this year I've decided I'm going to date, because this is kind of a special year for me and for the rest of the world. I'm going to just note that down on the corner. Very tiny. So let me show you this close up. Notice the bits of gilding here. These papers are absolutely exquisite. Rachel is having difficulty replacing some of them because they're on lockdown in certain parts of Italy, so getting to Florence is not that easy. And here's the focal piece of collage that I've been saving for ages, and it just worked. The colors here just worked out with the colors on the bird, and the flower. The green worked quite well with the particular shade of green on the piece of masking paper. And this piece I picked because I liked the way it came out. It ended up looking in comparison to the background of the very, very off-white paper from Trilby. So here we have this. If you have enjoyed my little getting my feet wet video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Leave a comment, and I do answer them. And I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Now, for those of you who are new, who are out of the loop on what I'm talking about, I have had 2020 was my year of cancer treatment for breast cancer, and I have been called a cancer survivor now, but this year, 2021, is going to be dedicated to surviving the year that they did to all of the things that were done to me and for me, and getting my strength back. So this is coming to visit my friends and sharing something that is close to my heart and yet isn't too taxing. So I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.